Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. And it is that time again. It's another preview with myself and my partner in crime, Callum Sanderson. How are we this evening?
Can't complain. Looking forward to the card.
Can't
Finally, a
complain.
card where we can watch at a decent time as well.
I know the second back-to-back card where it's on at a decent time, and of course, for all the US watchers, it is UFC London. It's going to be prelims start at 5 p.m. UK time. Main card starts at 7. It's another stacked card, top to bottom. Aspinall Blaydes headlining, possible title eliminator. Also on the card, Paddy the Baddy, Molly McCann, Paul Craig, the returning Alexander Gustafsson. And then obviously, we're not going to touch on the prelims, but the prelims are stacked with British talent. Mason Jones, Mukayev. I think those are the two big ones. But let's start at the top, at the main event. Callum.
Curtis Blaydes versus Tom Aspinall. I'm going to be real with you. I was hoping Tom Aspinall actually got an interim title belt shot, and I thought it would have been him versus Tai Tuivasa straight away. However, it seems as though UFC has gone in a different direction. Ty's fighting Cyril Gane. Aspinall's fighting Curtis Blaydes. Obviously, we still don't know what's going on with Stipe and John Jones.
Yeah.
But I do think we're going to have like a mini tournament here, as you've alluded to as well. But in order for the tournament to begin, we have to have this fight. And
yes.
I think stylistically, this is the hardest fight for Tom Aspinall. He's
100%.
fighting a wrestler who has got good striking, but predominantly a wrestler with amazing top game and great pressure. Whereas I think him fighting Tai Tuivasa or Cyril Gane, I think obviously the knockout power of the striking, but I think Tom's more than shown that he's adept and capable of standing with anyone in this division.
Yeah.
We've not really seen him get wrestled or out-wrestled yet.
No.
Hopefully it doesn't happen this Saturday. But there is a chance if anyone's going to do it in this division, it is Curtis Blaydes. That being said, my thoughts on Tom Aspinall. I think he's the future. I think he's a talented fighter. And there's a reason he's headlining these cards, because even though he may not be the most talkative, he doesn't do the trash talk, he doesn't really involve himself in that sort of stuff. When that door closes and he's in that cage, there's very few people in the world that can talk to him.
It's just different level. Like, I'm pretty sure, like I said to you in the chat, you see his back tap. He literally absorbed Volkov. So he could just absorb Curtis Blaydes next and have like a tattoo of Blaydes on him or something like that. Because that's what it looked like. It looked like that guy from Black Lightning that literally had his victims tattooed on him.
Yeah, that's a proper. Yeah, I'm trying to. What was his name? I know who you're talking about though, because he's not dead, but he's also not meant to be alive as well.
Yeah, like he has to like pay for his sins. It's like that's what Tom Aspinall is. Like,
That's
you lose to him, you become part of him. But I do think, yeah, he is 100% the future. I do think he poses one of Britain's best chances of holding UFC gold again for Britain. He's definitely up there. He's probably my second favorite to get to gold next. I think Leon Edwards is got the best shot because he's got the next title shot. But I do think Aspinall at some point will hold UFC gold. But in this fight, it's just as you said, like, this is the first time he's going to come up against an elite wrestler. Obviously, his hands are catching up to his ground game. We saw that in his last fight against Chris Daukaus, winning by TKO. But yet again, I think Curtis Blaydes is going to go back to his roots. I do think he's going to be very wrestle heavy, and I think it's going to be up to Tom Aspinall to use that movement. Or I think if I'm Tom Aspinall, I'd look at the Derek Lewis Blaydes fight. Look when Blaydes shoots, tries to hit him with an uppercut. Because I do think I do think Aspinall's got that light out power to to sleep
Or even
him.
a knee up the middle as well, right?
Even like a knee up the middle, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I do think he's probably one of the quickest fighters in that division. Tom, the speed is just something else. He moves like a middleweight. Like you could arguably say that he could, if he wanted to, he could. You could probably see him at like 205, but he's never going to do that. And I wouldn't blame him either. But this definitely poses the toughest test so far in his UFC career. But should he win this, he's definitely, for me, he's guaranteed he should be guaranteed an interim title shot because you don't know what's happening with Stipe Jones. There's rumors of October. What's happening in October? It's in Abu Dhabi. You're going to put it in November in New York or December. You're going to close out the year. Stipe versus Jones in December, or we don't know. This is like the Pied Piper, like a dream fight that we want to see. We're never going to get to see, and if we do see, it's 5 years too late.
Well, this is what I was going to say. I mean, I think heavyweight now is probably the most confusing division. Every other division seems to have some sort of structure. As you said, there's 6 people effectively vying for a title shot. You've got Stipe and Jones, Blaydes and Aspinall, Cyril Gahn, and Tuivasa.
And then you got Francis that is recovering from knee surgery.
Yeah.
Recovering, I did see clips of Francis practicing a new bit of something to add to his arsenal, which was a spinning elbow.
Well, his UFC contract's expiring as well.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy that literally holds all the power in Francis Ngannou. Wants the big money, rightly so. He probably deserves big money as well. So he's sort of, I wouldn't say he's blocking up the division because he's injured, but that division is probably the messiest division at the moment because there is a big bottleneck towards the top. I'd say the top 5 because Jones, we don't know where Jones ranks at heavyweight yet. He's sort of the new guy, but the top 5 is crammed. You could argue that anyone apart from Cyril Gahn could be after the next title shot. So it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Winner of this fight.
I've got to go, my boy Tom. Surely I've got to go with Tom. I'm going to go second round sub.
I'm going to go 4th round TKO as well. 4th round TKO.
But you know what? I'm actually going to go decision. Going to go decision. I'd like to say sub, but I just think Curtis isn't going to be easy to submit with his wrestling. Yeah. I'm going to go decision.
I'm going to go TKO because I do want to see him in those championship rounds. I need to see what he's like because I don't think he's been out like the second round. He's barely been out the second round for most of his UFC fights. So I do feel like that it'll be good to see how far he is along in his development because he keeps on saying we've barely seen he's barely scratched the surface in terms of his skill set. If he's barely scratched the surface, oh my God.
From a selfish point of view, I'd love to see him go out there and wipe Curtis Blaydes out in the first round because that keeps the allure, that keeps the mystique.
Keeps the mystique going, yeah. Like you don't know what you're going to get.
I don't think you can. Like Curtis is a hell of a fighter. I don't think you're going to just wipe him out like that.
No, I do think you'll need like the Derek Lewis shot that's going to put him out cold. So both got Tom Aspinall winning.
Yeah.
Co-main event: Jack Hermansson versus Chris Action Man Curtis. Unfortunately, it should have been Jack Hermansson versus Darren Till. But Darren Till has pulled out, but he will be cornering Chris Curtis in what potentially could be a big star-making performance for Chris Curtis. Unranked coming off a win a couple of weeks ago. Big stage, big crowd. Gets a big moment like this, it'll be just inside the top 10. And when you're inside that top 10, it's only a couple of fights away from potential title shot. Especially at middleweight when Izzy's cleaning up shot.
Yeah.
And you could easily see one more fight after this, sees you knocking at the door for the title.
I think if you're Jack Hermansson, I don't think so. I think if you're Chris Curtis, you could be right. If he wins this fight, he goes into the top 10, probably be ranked at number 8. And then after that, if he gets matched up with someone in the top 4 and he wins that, for me, then he gets the title shot because Izzy has beaten Whitaker twice, Vittori twice, Brunson,
Cannonier,
Costa. So if he beats Pereira, then effectively
he's literally like a fight. He's literally a fight away.
He's a fight away. I mean, you'd almost imagine that the winner of this fight's Darren Till.
Yeah, imagine Darren Till called Chris Curtis, and then he's got to fight him.
Yeah, but effectively, let's say Hermansson wins this, and then him and Till fight, and then Till wins, then I think Till would actually kind of have to get the title shot, just unless Pereira beat Adesanya, then he'd probably do the rematch.
I do feel like that with Till. I think when you look at most of the contenders, you can arguably say one win and you probably got yourself a title shot. For Till, you're probably looking and saying he probably needs a back-to-back wins, and then he gets a title shot. Just because he's sort of been out of action, he needs to get that consistency going. But he's definitely a couple of wins away from the title. In what would say we said at heavyweight, the division's a bit bottlenecked, but it's bottlenecked in this division because Adesanya pretty much beaten everyone in the top 5. Like, could you imagine that? One win and you get a title shot in this division.
I mean, the only other person that could potentially leapfrog everyone is Luke Rockhold if he beats Costa.
Oh yeah, now that I want to see that. Rockhold versus Izzy.
That would be a good fight.
That'd be a hell of a fight. And for Jack Hermansson, I think we mentioned it on your channel because you asked me this question. And I'll ask you this question again: is Hermansson in a lose-lose? Because if he wins, it's like, oh yeah, you should have beaten him, and if you lose, it's like, come on, like, what's going on?
So I'm going to change my answer, bro. This is because of you, because you've just literally opened my eyes to the fact that two wins could get you a title shot. So yeah, on the face of it, it is kind of a lose-lose because if he wins, everyone's going to be like, well, you should win. Like, you've had a whole training camp. You're fighting someone who's new to UFC pretty much and is coming off a couple of weeks' notice. But if he loses, obviously, it comes with all the, wow, you shouldn't have lost that fight effectively. But I don't think it's a lose-lose as such, because if he wins, as you said, one more fight, one more win, even if he fought Till after this, let's say he wins and he fought Till, there's an argument to say he gets the next title shot, because I don't think Costa beating Rockhold gets him the title shot.
No.
So, and unless Pereira wins and Izzy doesn't get an automatic rematch.
Yeah.
But if Izzy wins, then effectively Hermansson, Till, or Rockhold or Curtis will get the next title shot.
Yeah, because when you look, like, you don't want to see Whitaker Izzy 3, you don't want to see Vittori 3, you don't want to see Costa 2.
No.
You don't want to see Strickland, because I don't want to see Strickland.
Strickland needs to win a fight.
You don't want to see Cannonier 2, you don't want to see Brunson 2. I'm just trying to think who else he's fought. Yeah, like, you don't want to see the rematches of anyone that he's fought, because it's either been a shutout or it's been a boring fight because the opponent has not shown up to the dance.
I'm not going to lie, though. After we've just gone through the list, Izzy's a bad man, you know.
He's a bad man.
Like, he cleared out the top half of his division. And he's pretty much done it twice to
yeah, like, he's lapped them for good measure. And should he beat Pereira, which is going to be definitely a tough fight, then yeah, like, you're looking at like the up and comers, Duplessis, Imanov, the people around 50.
Start putting him in the if he beat Pereira, I think you have to put him in the conversation with Anderson Silva.
Yeah, potentially. It's a conversation. It's a definite conversation to have. I know people don't was like thinking, is he above Silva? But it's nostalgia. Like, Izzy's skim and title defenses. Okay, is Izzy got the finishes? Possibly not. When you look at the fight, it's not down to the champ.
It's down to the challengers.
It's down to the challenger. How much do you want the belt?
Makes
like, and when you're a predominantly counter striker, you are waiting for the opponent to make the first move. As he is, he is a counter striker, not a front foot aggressive Costa. Because like that Costa Izzy fight, it shows the way of, oh, if you charge in, Izzy's going to piece you up, and then it'll be game over.
Exactly.
Predictions for Hermanson Curtis.
Gonna go in my heart. Curtis, second round TKO.
I'm going to go with my head, and I'm going to go Hermanson unanimous decision. I think he's just going to wrestle. You're going to see the Shabazian fight part 2.
Oh yeah.
Talented striker, raffles. Speaking of talented strikers, next fight on the card, Paddy the Baddy versus Jordan Levitt. This is an interesting bout because you've got Paddy coming off that sensational submission win last time out at UFC London versus Jordan Levitt, who's making a hell of a lot of noise and a hell of a lot of splits. Twerking. And all of that.
Jordan, do you know what? Shout out to Ariel Helwani. I watched Jordan Levitt's interview on the Helwani show, and he seemed like a really nice guy.
Yeah,
like the celebrations he said literally just come from people in his gym daring him to do things, like saying to him, "Oh, I bet you'd never do the splits and twerk," and you just like, "I bet you I will," and he did. He won his fight. He did it, and he himself has said, obviously, the UK fans have reached out to him and been like, "Look, we want Paddy to win, but best of luck to you." I don't think, because of his personality, I don't think he'll be booed in a malicious way. Obviously, Paddy's going to have the crowd behind him, but I think it'll be an atmosphere where it's not hostile for him. So I actually think he'll cope better than a lot of people think. In terms of the fight itself, I have got Paddy, who, in my opinion, has got the edge.
Yeah.
But I don't think Jordan Levitt's going to be overawed by this situation or by the fight. But I think Paddy will do what he does.
Yeah, I do think for Levitt, it is a massive opportunity for him. If he upsets London instant star, like you take the Paddy star power, I was like, wow, we've got a contender here. And if Paddy wins, it's like, okay, you've stepped up against opposition, delivered in another massive crowd. And I think I said it in your preview. He's already said online like he wants to fight in December in America, which would be huge if the UFC manage to get him on that December card. Should Paddy not blow up as much after London, but with him, you never know.
You never know. You never know.
But I do feel like it's going to be such a tough fight. It's going to be if Paddy can just tuck that chin in a little bit, he's going to make this fight easier for him than he is going to make it difficult for him. I'm not saying Jordan Levitt's crap, and he's going to walk through him. It's just going to make it a little bit easier to swallow those shots. When the chin's hanging and it's an open target, you can get hit. We've seen him get wobbled twice in both of his fights, and I've said this, like, this is why I think it could derail him becoming champion. It could become a bit Tony Ferguson. He'll be great, but the second as that iron chin goes,
could be a problem.
It's not going to look pretty.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and here's the thing: with all due respect to Levitt, I think he could maybe tag Paddy. I don't know if he's got that power to knock him out, though.
Yeah,
and we've seen Paddy get tagged, but I think to knock Paddy out, you're looking at your upper echelon fighters. You're looking at your Chandlers and your Poiriers, your Gaethjes, your Fiziev. We're gonna have a conversation about Fiziev in a separate video because that guy is making waves. But yeah, it's against someone like that where he may come unstuck if he's not guarding himself and defending properly. I think this is a fight that I won't say he's been cherry picked for him because Jordan Levitt is a very good fighter, but
his record says that he's 10-1.
Yeah. So, but I do think when you look at stylistically and how Levitt approaches fights, I think this gives Paddy the edge. So
yeah, because it's definitely a step up from Vargas.
Yes,
last fight round, and I do feel like the UFC are trying their best not to strap the rocket on him
Yeah.
as quickly, but they have strapped it onto a certain extent. But they're trying to sort of do the Conor McGregor when he first came in,
Yeah.
trying to take it slow. I think Paddy said it himself. Like someone asked him, "Oh, when do you want to fight for the belt?" And it's like a few years yet. Come on, like we've got to take our time. And I think Chandler said it. It's like Chandler said, like when he's fighting for the belt, I'm going to be retired
Yeah.
by then, sort of thing. So Paddy's going to take his time, and he is
Yeah.
one of the future faces of the division. But for
One
people
of
want
the
to see him
faces
against,
of the whole company.
yeah, like for people that want to see him against Gaethje, Poirier, Chandler, Ferguson, probably not going to happen.
No.
And even if it does happen, you're going to be seeing him against an out of prime Poirier, Gaethje.
Yeah.
You're going to see him against Pensioner Ferguson if Ferguson sticks around that long. But Paddy's definitely an exciting fighter. What happens to Paddy? Like, let's hypothetically, let's go. Paddy picks up the victory.
Yeah.
And he fights in December. What are we saying, opponent-wise?
Opponent-wise,
Ready to get a ranked guy yet? I think that's another step up.
So we spoke about this over on my channel, and again, you've kind of opened my eyes to it. So just looking at the rankings now, so just going to go lightweight, because I think you're right. I think anyone in the top 15 might be too quick for him. You've got, well, you suggested Diego Ferreira. I think that's a good fight.
Yeah.
Thiago Moises.
You know, that's a shout as well.
That's a decent fight. Drew Dober.
Yes. I think Drew Dober's fighting in a couple of months.
Drew Dober could be a good one.
Think he'll be available.
Could you even go? There's a couple of fights here, actually. I'm going to... Obviously, Brad Riddell, Bobby Green would be very, very fun. I don't think he'd get the Bobby Green fight just yet, though.
Grant Dawson.
Good shout.
You talk about Ilie Topuria.
Could you go Michael Johnson or Jamie Malarkey as well? They just had a great fight between them two.
Jim Miller,
Clay Guida.
Yeah, so when you look, so Paddy's ranked number 39 in the UFC at the moment. So looking around him, you're talking Michael Johnson, Terence McKinney, and Jamie Malarkey. Those are the three around him at the moment. Jordan Levitt is actually ranked 52 at lightweight in the UFC. Jai Herbert is just literally just ranked above him.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking here. So you're probably looking between. I'll probably go from 20 down. So you're looking at Brad Riddell, Bobby Green, Grant Dawson, Alexander Hernandez. Great fight. Draco Closer. Great fight.
Mark Madsen is a good fight as well.
Clay Guida. See, names. I think Paddy said he wants to take his time, and to build up that resume, he needs names.
You need a couple of names on there.
I think
Clay Guida would not be an easy fighter.
No, but like he said, like he's ready for the big time. Let's see if you're ready.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Let's give you legends. Let's give you legends to see how you do. I would have said Cowboy if Cowboy didn't.
Yeah.
You know,
well, they look like they tried to make that fight before, didn't they? And
yeah.
Kind of fell through.
Or even like a Michael Johnson. So there is definitely names for him should he win. He's nowhere near ready for top 15 yet.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be too early.
Be too ready. So predictions. I think you're in Paddy.
Yeah, I'm going Paddy second round submission.
And I'm going Jordan Levitt. No, joking. I'm going see if I can get away with doing it.
I was going to say your comment section is going to be rough.
No, Paddy round 3 submission, and I said flying triangle, so I'm going to keep to the flying triangle.
I'm going to go chokehold, guillotine or rear naked chokehold.
Next fight on the card, I think it's his gym partner, and that is Molly McCann versus Hannah Gawley. I think Is it another Molly viral knockout, do you think?
I don't necessarily be viral, but I expect her to walk Hannah down and let shots off and get the knockout. I don't think it'll be viral. To recreate a viral knockout, I think those sort of knockouts come one in every 10 fights, unless you're obviously like an Anderson Silva, but most people aren't an Anderson Silva. So I'm not going to go for a viral, but I do think it will be a convincing knockout.
I do feel like that when you look at Hannah Goldie, I do feel like that her record is pretty much like she is made, that opponent was picked for Molly in mind, because she's not renowned for her striking, she's not renowned for her grappling either. Her 6 wins, 4 by decision, lost 2 by decision, so she's tough. But I think Molly, with that crowd, I think she's going to get the job done. I think the UFC are doing well to protect her, because I think she's even said, yeah, she probably won't climb up for the title. She'll probably do a Bisping, where she'll get the title shot last minute sort of thing, and potentially she might win it then. But I do feel like it is made for her. This is made. Opponent was handpicked. The going on, Molly, who do you fancy? And she's gone, that one.
Yeah,
I'd like to look at that one. I go, okay, before. And I think she will before. Predictions.
I'm going for Molly knockout. I'm going first round. I've changed my prediction already.
I think I went Molly round 1 as well. Done in 1.
Yeah, I think she'll do it in 1. I think the confidence she'll take from the last fight to this one as well will just be, and the fans, the response she's going to get is electric as well. So yeah,
like you've seen her in the build-up, like she looks supremely confident and right. So next fight on the card, Nikita Krylov makes his return to London after losing to Paul Craig by flying triangle, no jokes, by triangle out of nowhere, against a returning Alexander Gustafsson. Yes, I think I got that right. Gustafsson. Apologies for all the Swedish watchers. This is going to be a tough one, because I think this could be the last time we see him in the octagon.
Yeah, this is going to be a hard one for me, because I look back on Alexander when he fought John Jones and when he pieced up Glover to Shearer.
DC.
The fight against DC was amazing. Then obviously his setback against Anthony Johnson. But then it's just the last few years haven't been great for him. The loss to Jones was a tough one. He got completely outclassed in that fight. The Anthony Smith fight, he just didn't seem like he wanted to be in there. And the Verdun fight, he got caught really early and had no option but to tap. This is last chance saloon for him. This is make or break. And if he doesn't win this, it's the R word, isn't it? It's retirement.
This screams of Joanna Whaley 2.
Yes, it does.
Joanna coming back thinking, yeah, I'm going to give it my all. And if it's enough, I'll stay. And if it's not, I'm happily retired.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same for Gustafsson. It's back to 205. I think he's going to give everything he's got. You're going to hear him say that the best training camp.
Yeah.
The best system in the best shape. I think he's going to lose. He'll always be a UFC legend. He'll be an icon. He'll probably be one of the best fighters in the company to have never lifted gold.
Yeah.
Me and Callum will probably do a video either on my channel or Sanderson's show. Make sure you check that out. Link in the description and in the title. We'll definitely do a video on best fighters never to win gold, because Gustafsson is definitely up there.
Yeah, definitely.
Predictions for the fight, I think I know what you're going to pick.
I'm going Krylov TKO first round.
I'm going Krylov TKO 1 round. I don't want to say it, but
I hope I'm wrong. I really hope.
Yeah, I hope I'm so wrong. I hope Gustafsson just lands something and goes, I'm not leaving.
Yeah, I hope so.
And then last fight on the card, the opener, Paul Paul Craig versus
Mr. Braveheart.
Mr. Braveheart himself versus Oezdemir.
I love the fight, by the way.
Great
I
fight.
love the fight.
You could arguably say, oh, Paul Craig deserves a top-ranked guy, but when you look at that division, it's pretty much sewn up for the next few months. Everyone's pretty much got an opponent. You could arguably say the only couple of people that haven't been partnered up is Rakic and Blachowicz, but they fought. Rakic is out with an ACL injury.
Yeah.
I think Teixeira, Yuri said Teixeira's the next.
Yeah, he's going to get a rematch, isn't he?
So potentially, if Paul Craig gets a big win, you could look at Craig versus Jan Blachowicz, number one contenders match. It's a massive opportunity for Paul Craig again to show that hit me as many times as you want, but when I catch you in the triangle, it's good night.
Oh, another ball game.
A whole another ball game when you get caught in that triangle.
I'm like you. I'm a big fan of Paul Craig. He's never in a dull fight, and he's shown this almost Superman-esque like ability to take and absorb punishment, and then just out of nowhere throw in a submission and it's done. Oezdemir is a come forward fighter. He's also a good counter fighter, but I think he comes forward quite a lot as well. Yes. I think that will play into Craig's hands. I think the first round might be a bit cagey. Yeah, I think he catches him in the second round, and you're right.
Be surprised if Paul Craig gets dropped, and you'll think,
yeah,
he's out again, isn't he?
Yeah.
And no, he'll just fling up the legs,
and it's done.
Fling the triangle, and then it'll be done. It'll be locked in tight. I think Paul Craig's is he won his last 5, or is he unbeaten in his last 5? I know he's on 4 in a row, but I think he drew.
He drew one which should have been a win.
Brazil
against Shogun.
Oh my god,
that should have been a win. He got robbed. Yeah, he got robbed.
Horrible.
He got absolutely robbed. But I think you're right. Paul Craig could be this fight and another fight away from potentially getting a title shot.
Yeah, because when you think about it, like, I know you've got Smith versus Ankalaev, which I think is that next week or the week after.
Yeah, it's in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's in the next couple of weeks, and I swear Dana said that's the number 1 contenders bout, which I would slightly disagree with. It's probably whoever gets the best viral moment is probably going to fight Blachowicz.
Yeah,
for the number 1 contenders bout.
Yeah,
that division's exciting. It's the hot potato division. It's what it's called. It's what it's been named now. Until there is a dominant champion, it's the hot potato division, which is why it's so entertaining, because you can pretty much say anyone in the top 15. You can say anyone can beat anyone, and you could probably go, yeah, I could see him winning the belt at some stage. It's the same with Paul Craig. Could easily see him winning the belt.
Precisely.
And it's going to be an absolute stat. Oh yeah, do we get predictions? I did ask you for
Paul Craig second round submission.
I'm going Paul Craig. I said round 1 on your channel. Scrap it. Go round. Go round 1.
Here we go.
Yeah, round 1. You're gonna get dropped in the first 30 seconds. You're gonna go.
Ground and pounded it in front of an armbar.
Minute. Done like that, and it'll be like, Jan, I'll fight you in Poland.
I think he would as well. That'd be a hell of a fight.
Or call out the fight in Glasgow.
Yeah.
And obviously the prelims, we've got Mason Jones fighting, and then you got Makayev fighting against, I think it's Formula 1 championship.
Yeah. Nathaniel Wood as well.
Nathaniel Wood fighting on the card. See, that prelims is stacked. You've got Jai Herbert, Mark Kise fighting with Ross.
So much talent now. We've got so much talent over this side of the pond.
It's the golden age for British MMA, and do not be surprised if there's a couple of other champions from the UK. That's it for this preview. Massive thank you to everyone watching. Make sure you hit the like button, share button, and subscribe button on our road to 100 subs. Obviously, make sure to check out Callum's channel, Sanderson Show. Link will be in the title and the description. Also, make sure to subscribe to Team Coppish as well for Liverpool content. They're on the road to 30k, so let's make that happen. And yeah, Callum, what's coming up on Coppish and the Sanderson show?
Coppish. So we've got a special show planned for Wednesday. I can't give any details away because it is a bit of a surprise, but it will be very fun if it comes to fruition. Then we'll be doing a watch along for the game against RB Leipzig, and then our Friday call-in show, and then on the Sanderson show, watch a long time, baby. Watch a long time, baby.
Yes. Oh yeah, cannot wait for that watch along
At normal time in the day. What a feeling.
Yes. Yeah. So everyone's watching. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all very soon.